right, so for the sake of the recording, this is a session on Helperbird, which is an extension for accessibility and tools that students and staff and everybody can use. And we do have a district license for this, so we have all of the tools at our disposal. So anybody have any good websites that they want me to go that has something that you might want a student to annotate or read, and something we can play with it in the chat? The chat is very quiet. Okay, nobody has any suggestions. Let me just try to flounder through this part then. I was trying to avoid things like New Zealand or something, but okay. Trying to avoid things like CNN as well. Can I get verification that you all can hear me and see my screen? Okay, thank you. World of Tales, what is this? Are these chapters?
These are tales that go along with the English 10 Springboard curriculum for early on starting Unit 3.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll get rid of these pictures here. Okay, so up in my extensions bar, I have this little, looks like an owl face or something, and it says on. So right now I have Helperbird on. So when you, after my quick demo here, we'll install it and play with it. But first I would like to just do a demo and have you watch. So I can turn Helperbird off, and then nothing is popping up when I highlight, or it is popping up highlight things. But it's not all these things that I might turn on, all these actions, all of these adjustments would turn off. But I'm going to turn Helperbird on. So first in this extension, you can see, and it's not showing Helperbird, is it? Okay, I'm going to have to change how I'm sharing my screen to share my entire monitor or my entire screen and not a window, because it is not allowing me to see the extension. So let's try this again. I know how I will be editing my video, my recording. Okay. Now you should be able to see. Can somebody go out on mic and tell me if you can see the Helperbird extension right here with all these quick actions?
With a bunch of circle icons?
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so this is the Helperbird extension here. And what I was talking about earlier but you couldn't see was that I can toggle this on and off. So right now I'm going to turn it on, and you'll see the little green box on the extension icon there. And if I turn it off, it's a little red box that says off. So the top part here has these quick actions, and you can, I believe, edit these, which ones you want to have on first. So like right now I have this highlight menu on. If I wanted to turn it, this can be kind of annoying sometimes. And so sometimes I just turn the extension off because I find this annoying when I'm not using it. However, it also could be very helpful. So that in the quick actions here, I can turn this off. And now when I highlight, I might have to refresh. In theory, that highlight bar should not be coming up. Yes, so now that I've refreshed, it's not coming up. In the quick actions, I have view in reader mode, I have immersive reader, create a new note, extract text, add website to the reading list, screenshot, etc., translate, so many things. Summarize the page, which is AI, which is always interesting. So I'm going to just play with a couple of these in a few minutes, but I want to first just kind of look at how the extension is laid out and what all of our options are. So if I want to adjust the text, this is the first thing here. If this is also a pretty long section, if it's text adjustment is not something that I want to use, I can take this little arrow here and, oh, maybe I thought that would make it go away. Never mind. So if I wanted to change the font, I would toggle this part on, and I would find this font I want. Maybe I want Open Dyslexic. And now this website is in the font that I chose. So this could be very useful for your dyslexic students who need a different font to help them concentrate. Maybe they like it bold. It's easier for them. And when I turn this off, it goes back to the original. So students can very quickly pick their students or staff or anybody can choose the one they like to read the most. And when they toggle it on, it is there for them. So let's see. Let's try. I guess I'll stick with Open Dyslexic. Okay, so if I find this to be something I don't want, I turn it off, right? You can also change the text size. So you can make it bigger. You can make it smaller, more fit on a page. But let's say I like it at 100%. Now I maybe want to change the spacing so that the words are further apart, and that helps me focus on the individual words. Or I want them closer together. You can change all of those things. I find the spacing fine the way it is, so I'm going to toggle that off. Letter spacing can also be changed. Line height. This one is always one that kind of is helpful for me because I like to, when text is really close together, it's harder to follow line to line, right? So if I turn this on, obviously 10% is not good, but maybe I want to spread it out a little bit more so it's easier to follow. Now, when I read it, the lines are not so close together. I'm going to check if there's any questions in the chat. Oh, look, it changed my chat text too. This is fun. Okay. More text adjustments, text alignment, whether I want to, if it may, sometimes maybe things might be aligned to the right and I don't like that. I want them aligned to the left. I can do that, or I can justify. Now it goes from side to side. Okay. But so maybe I don't need text alignment on. So I'm adjusting this all to how I want it. So now I have it how I want it. And again, I can turn this on or off. I can, and that was just the font, right? But I can also turn the line height on or off. Magnifier, they showed this one in the video, right? You can magnify and see things closer. But I don't want that. I'm going to turn the magnifier off. Helperbird apps, open in PDF reader, open Helperbird's editor, dictionary, reading list. So you can play with all of those things during the sandbox. Speed reading. Let's see. So this is for reading word by word to practice speed reading. And if you want to practice reading faster, it's pulling each word from the text that's on the page. Then you have your different types of readers: immersive reader, PDF reader, reader mode, and you can edit those things. You have voice typing. So this was something that was useful when I had carpal tunnel surgery a couple weeks ago. And when I broke my wrist back in March, we didn't have Helperbird then, but I used a different one. But if I wanted to turn on voice typing, I'm not going to allow it. Speak now, it says. So now I can type what I want to say, what I want to type. And when I'm ready, I can copy and paste it into what I need to copy, whatever it is, with document or whatever. So let's see, copy, and I'll come put it in my speaker notes just to see how it works. Where's my speaker notes? Oops. What? Okay, well, there they are. Okay. So whatever I said, I can copy it and paste it into here. So I'm going to try that again. I am testing out this voice to text option on Helperbird. Oh, okay. So obviously it didn't take Helperbird, right? It said Hubbard. So it does need, does need a little editing, but it's there as a tool. Okay. All right, let's see. Got some questions here. Could a link be posted to the slides? Yes. Thank you, Gloria, for doing that. Does it read out loud? Yes. I'm going to show you that shortly. Use it in Google Classroom. Yeah, I believe so. Does it paste into a website? I'm not sure. Let's go look at that. But first, I want to show you the immersive reader. All right, so I'm going to come back here. I'm going to turn off some of my adjustments here because they're a bit much for what I'm doing right now. Okay. Now I'm going to turn off voice text typing because that's not helpful. Okay, so one of my favorite things on the internet ever is immersive reader, which I want to show you, but first I want to see if I can get rid of these ads. So I'm looking for, there's so many things here, but it's very rich in tools. I'm looking for the turning off the picture part. Color blindness, hide GIFs, hide all images. Does it work? Hide all GIFs. Maybe I have to refresh. Oh, it didn't work. That's annoying. Okay. So to answer your question, it does not turn off all ads. It should turn off many though. Let's try it. Let's see here. Okay, so hunt for Outlaw Jesse James. And images, I do have images turned off. So the images went away right away. But if I turn all images back on, it comes back. So you can see how that works. Okay. So students can choose their own presets based on their needs. But let's talk about immersive readers. So I'm going to highlight these two first paragraphs, and I'm going to click on Helperbird, or I right-clicked first, and then I'm going to go to View in Immersive Reader. So if you've never seen Immersive Reader, this is going to blow your mind. Now, I've used Immersive Reader many times, so I have it kind of set how I like it, but there's different, you can change the text size, so you can fit more on a screen. You can change the spacing. I have increased spacing on, but you don't have to. You can choose from a couple of different fonts. You can make it white on black, which is sometimes easier on the eyes. Sepia theme. Okay, so I'm going to go with white on black. More colors. Oh my goodness. But that's just that part. The cool part comes down here when you click play. So this is now reading me a story. It's like an audiobook, but I can also see the text at the same time. I can change the voice speed. I can make it go faster. I can change it to voice of male or female. So this can be helpful when you're trying to stay focused on the reading, because like I do have ADHD, so I use this actually more than I care to admit, because sometimes when I'm just reading, especially something that's a little bit more dry and technical online, it's really difficult to follow these tiny lines of print and starting on a screen. But I will turn on this immersive reader and I will make the speed closer to my actual reading speed. And it sounds crazy sometimes, but it helps to, it just really helps to keep that reading focused. And it also sometimes helps to, if you make it really fast, it helps you with your speed reading. Now that's not going to be necessarily useful for everybody at that speed, but maybe 1.5 is better. Maybe 1.25. So that's the main thing that immersive reader does, but it also has a couple of other things too. It can showcase parts of speech. So you can make all of the nouns a certain color. You can change that color. It will change the verbs, adjectives, and you can turn these on and off. So if you only want nouns and adjectives, you can turn the labels on so you can see not only are they color coded, but the abbreviation for the parts of speech are there. If you turn on the labels, you can see how words are broken into syllables. So beautiful is 3 syllables, etc. Tortoise, however. This also can help a lot with pronunciation for your language learners, and especially difficult to read words. And then you have line focus tool. Let me turn these off. Line focus is show one line of text when reading. So this can help, especially with ADHD and your students who have a hard time focusing on many lines of text. You can turn on 3 lines of text. It kind of helps to narrow the focus of what they are reading. Picture dictionary. So that is when you click on them, you literally see a picture of that represents what that word means. So verb thrown, showing somebody throw something. A bush, tortoise. So this is really, really powerful for English learners, because they're like, wait, what's a tortoise? And then they're like, oh, it's like a turtle, but I knew the word turtle. I didn't know the word tortoise. So powerful for our English language learners. And that can be turned on or off by the students or the user. translate. Are you guys ready for this? Let me turn the line focus back off. We are reading this in English for our ELA class. However, they have a student who only speaks Spanish, and he's from Latin America. And I want to translate the whole document, the whole reading. Boom. Now this reading is in Spanish. And so our student, like our newcomers, can now read this, assuming they can read in Spanish. They can now read this and get the content, and it's not just about learning the language, it's also about the content, right? So translation, you can also do it by word. So if I wanted to translate just tortoise, tortuga. Now I have the picture and the word translations on. So beasts. What is this? Bestia salvajes. I don't know. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. It's terrible. So this is Immersive Reader, which might be like one of my favorite tools ever. And once they're done with that paragraph that they're reading, boom, back into the thing, back into the rest of the reading. And they can choose the entire text or just the part that they're reading. Just part of the paragraph is what I meant. So here it is again with the whole entire text, not just the one paragraph that I chose before. All right. It is awesome. Okay. So I've not demonstrated everything that is on Helperbird, but I've given you kind of a preview of how a lot of it works, and so that you can go in and play with it more. Again, these quick actions, if I didn't want to right click or I didn't know about right clicking to get to Helperbird, I can go to the quick action here, view an immersive reader. It does the same thing. Let me get out of immersive reader. If I wanted to create a new note, creating a note, where'd it go? There it is. And this is where I could take notes. What should I write here? I'm gonna notes about the reading, whatever they say. And so then that saves on that page when they go back to it. It should be there. So this is a way that they can annotate as well. It does have highlighting. Again, where did it go? Highlight menu. So they turn that on. And if they want to highlight a sentence or a section of a sentence, highlight. I didn't do it. Okay, well, in theory, that should highlight. It worked for me last time. It's always something. So when you download this, you can play around with it and get different types of, when you have this highlight tool on, you can get the annotate, you can go to immersive, it'll read it for you.
Where your husband would be.
So it does read it for you. If you have this highlight bar on, you can just click play.
To be killed. Eventually.
I don't like that voice. It sounds horrible robotic. So that's why I would go to immersive here instead. If I wanted to just define this one word, if I highlight it, define, it brings me to a dictionary definition of tortoise in a new tab. And I don't know why highlight's not working, because it was working yesterday, I swear. It might be this web page too. Let's see if I can do it over here. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Always when you're demonstrating it, something breaks, right? Am I right? Okay. So I've demoed a lot of it, but not all of it. A lot of it is going to come from playing around. So in the slide deck, copy, I'm going to put this in the chat as well. I know, right, Gloria? It's like Murphy's Law, but for for presentations. Okay. So if you can go to this, I'm going to delete this square that never got used. Delete. Okay, so if you go to this Jamboard, you do have editing access to this, and I would love to have you kind of just go through and look for different or the different questions. Use a text box or a sticky note to answer the questions, or put a picture, whatever you would like to do. So what tool or feature are you most excited about that I just demoed? How do you think that Helperbird can support you as an educator? So thinking about as a teacher, as a para, however it might be, for yourself, how could this support you? And how, in what ways can you foresee Helperbird being used by your students? What ideas do you have for how to inform students about Helperbird? So this will be something we also continue to work on during our sandbox. But if anybody ends up creating a lesson for how to teach your students about Helperbird, it would be great if it was shared. And then any other ideas or resources or questions you have. So if we can take a few minutes to go through and add things to this Jamboard. I'm just really curious to see of all those things that I demoed, what was the most exciting for you? And how do you think it can be helpful for you, as well as how do you see your students using it? Yeah, Sochi, that's exactly it. It's like they're all right there for you. It's not 17 different extensions. It's all in one place. I switched into your presentation after leaving another presentation. Anything special I need to do? Just email me so that I can make your sign and reflect that. And Jackie, here's a link to the slides. Oops. I love seeing everything you guys are putting. So I'm going to kind of go through them as you're typing. What tool are you most excited about? I'm seeing a lot about reading text and immersive reader, translating, immersive reader, dyslexia tool, translating science vocab. Awesome. Difficult words in math. Vocab to image is an interesting tool. Translation. Defining words helps students. ADHD tools. Immersive reader. How can this support you as an educator? Work independently and supported simultaneously. I love that. Ed specialists will help me support with IEP accommodations 100%. In classes, learning with fidelity. Love it. Differentiate and support students to their level, need level. Exactly. Help me provide accommodations for resource students, translation so you can support students in ELD. Yes. Perfect for my ELD students. Unlocking difficult and familiar words. Totally. Other school psychs so we can use for accommodation. Wonderful. Yes, please share this far and wide. It is such a valuable resource that I really like. My hope is that you go and tell everybody you know, well, within the district, because we have the license in the district. I mean, you could go down the street and start shouting about it if you really want to, but you might end up on a 5150 hold. Immersive reader will help students focus on each paragraph. Oh, totally. Instead of getting overwhelmed with so many words. Pictionary. Wow. Pictionary is how I wrote dictionary and pictures together, so there's that. My brain is still on vacation. Translation, highlighting. Homeroom lessons during advisory. Lessons in individual study classes, pullouts with students, sharing an IEP. Wonderful. I see with the homeroom lessons and during advisory, I would also encourage you to think about how you could put it into a content lesson, because not every school site has advisory or homerooms. So like how could you kind of meld this into a math lesson? Maybe they're doing a reading problem, or obviously your English being the obvious one, but you could even science. How could you wrap this extension into teaching this extension into the content where, maybe you're giving them some science text. Let me help you go through this difficult text by downloading this extension, and then now let's learn how to use this extension to help you support you with this difficult text, that kind of thing. All right. So at this point, I want to, if you have not already done so, I know some people probably went ahead, and that's totally fine. On the 5th slide, if I can have you pause on the Jamboard real quick, because I want to make sure that you get your break. We're at 10:43, so we're going to break at 10:45 and come back at 11 for the sandbox. But I wanted to take a look at slide number 5. There is a lot of resources here for you. I actually did not make a lot of slides on this deck on purpose, because Helperbird's page is so full of resources that I didn't even need to do it, which was wonderful, because I made this, I was planning for this yesterday. I mean, totally planned it 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about? But if you go to this first link, help guides, it has guides for how to install it, what the features are, what the integrations are. It has over on the left side how to turn Helperbird on, pin an extension, turn on sync. There's all the how-tos of the technicalities getting started. And then it has links to pages for every single feature it has. It has a page that tells you how to use that function. So if you go to color blindness, it will tell you all the different things that it can do. And many of these also have videos to describe the process. So here on annotate, it shows you method 1, annotate button. It has a video tutorial how to use notes. So it has videos and tutorials for every little thing that you could do on it, which is beautiful because I didn't have to do it. But also just really great, really great resource here. They also have a YouTube channel, which I linked as well. Help guides, video guides and tutorials, which you can get through on that link, or you can also just come here to support video tutorials. And it has videos of the different things. It's taking a bit to load because I have a lot going on right now. But if you have not yet done so, please go to slide number 6 and click on this link here, which will bring you to the Chrome Web Store to install this extension. So right now I have it installed already, so I don't, you would see add to Chrome or install or whatever right here. So during our 15-minute break, or when we get back, make sure you have that installed. And I am going to let us off to our break right now. And then we will come back at 11 o'clock for our sandbox. Students